Welcome back to another episode of Forge Father FM. As you can probably tell, you can see my breath because I am in my garage gym, aka the podcast studio, and it is 2 degrees outside. We are getting dumped on with snow right now. It is very, very cold. It is the dead of winter, and the excuses are rampant this time of year. And that's what this episode is all about, excuses. We're going to dig into excuses, and I'm going to share with you how to eliminate the excuses in your life. But first, if you don't know me, my name is Travis Stetzel. I am the creator of The Forged Father. I have 5 kids myself. I'm married, and I was called into this to build men who are uncommon, who are strong, energized, jacked. They're showing up as their best fitness-wise, so they can fill their family bucket, their faith bucket, and their financial bucket. And that's what we do inside of Forged Father. We unleash the uncommon man that is filling all 4 buckets. And so if you're interested in learning more about what we do inside of our elite coaching program, which is called Unleash, go below this video, click on that link, and you will find out more. And if you want to take the next steps, you can do so. So, excuses. As one of my old football coaches used to say, excuses are like assholes. Everybody has one, and they don't smell so good. And he used to say this during 2 days. You know, the first couple of days, everybody'd show up, and then you'd start having athletes show up late, and then you'd have athletes that wouldn't show up at all, and they'd always have excuses. And so that's what my old coach used to say, and it's true. You know, everybody has them, and they don't smell good. They're not worth anything. Excuses will not get you ahead in life. And what made me really think about this was a conversation that I had with a fellow dad yesterday. And he said, Travis, I haven't worked out since Christmas. We are now in February. He hasn't worked out since Christmas because it's cold outside. And he works out in his garage where it's cold. And I said, so? He's like, it's super uncomfortable. It's unbearable. Well, what you do is you bundle yourself up, maybe even put some gloves on, and you get yourself outside in the cold, in the uncomfortable conditions, and you get the work done anyways. You can have results or you can have excuses. And so for this dad, I mean, it's not a surprise. He's 40 pounds overweight, struggling with energy, struggling with confidence. He just doesn't understand why he can't finally take control of this issue that he has with his body, his fitness, and everything that is interlinked with that. It causes issues downstream. It's not just with him. It's causing issues with his kids, with his marriage, with how he's showing up in his profession, with how he's showing up every single day. He's dragging these excuses behind him. It's his excuses that are weighing him down. And when he told me, and he started to talk about how cold his garage is, I told him I get it because it brings me all the way back to when I first started my gym, The Forged Athlete. And my first location was at the very end of this strip mall that we're in. And it was a concrete building. And since we were right on the end, there's no insulation in these walls, in these buildings. Like, they are bare, had a 20-foot ceiling. And so there wasn't a heater in this it was a 1,200 square foot spot. There was no heater. And even if I had a heater, it'd cost a good penny to heat that place. We had a small space heater. And the only time that I ever used that was when it was going to be below zero, and I would stick it in the bathroom in the very back so the pipes wouldn't burst. But I remember my clients showing up, bundled up, gloves on, because when you grab a kettlebell, a barbell that's been sitting in a building that is near 0 degrees, it's not very comfortable. But you know what? My clients would still show up, and we'd find a way to get it done. Once you start moving around, once you start breathing heavy, you start sweating, you start getting hot, and then the cold doesn't affect you as much. It's just finding a way around the barrier. With it being cold, I get it. My garage is cold. I'm still out here every single morning. Does it get easy when it's cold? Absolutely not. There's a lot of mornings where I don't want to come out in the garage to get my workouts in, to do my daily 250s. But I refuse to miss. I refuse to let something that is out of my control stop me, because I still have control. I just got to layer up. That's it. Layer up. Get out in the cold conditions. Move yourself. You'll warm up. You'll be able to deal with it. And in doing that, that's where a lot of growth is. That's where the transformation is, right there. Those times back in my first gym, those are some of the best times ever. Seeing my clients come in, and at first, I remember the first couple of days, they came in and we could see everybody's breath. And I'm like, I don't know about this. But I would just crank the tunes. I'd put on some Pantera, some Metallica, Slipknot, maybe some Ice Cube. And we'd just get to work. And we would forget about the circumstances we were putting ourselves in. They weren't ideal, but we found a way to get them done. And so, excuses, what are they for you? Are you just not willing to get uncomfortable? It's not convenient for you. It's painful. You're busy. You're stressed. You got all this other stuff to do as a busy father. Excuses are easy to, fill the gaps. But when you have these excuses that fill the gaps, well, you don't have the results that you're wanting. So if that's to lose weight, 20, 30, 40 or more pounds, finally get rid of a dad bod that you've been carrying around since becoming a father, to have more energy, to have more confidence, your wanting, your desire, your why has to be bigger than your excuse. That's the first thing about eliminating the excuses in your life, is when you get crystal clear on what it is that you want, but then going even deeper and asking yourself why you want it, you'll find ways to conquer and overcome the excuses that you used to use prior, when you weren't so clear. One of the first steps that we take inside of Forged Father is we get very, very clear with what it is that we want and why we want it. Because once we know what it is, why it is that we want it, now we can talk about the how. And if we know what the how is, what the requirement is to get what it is that we want, and if that why is deep enough, we'll do what we got to do. But when your vision of what it is that you want isn't very clear, it's just wishy-washy, which a lot of dads that I talk to, their goals, their wants, they're very wishy-washy. They're surface level. They don't connect the what with the why. And so when it comes to doing the work and it doesn't match up with their schedule, it's an inconvenience for them, they find themselves tired and fatigued and stressed, they choose not to do it. The excuse is much more desirable in the moment. But when you get very, very clear on what it is that you want and why you want it, you'll find ways to conquer and overcome the excuses. So even if it's only 2 degrees outside and you can see your breath in your garage, and your garage is a place that you work out in, and when you grab a kettlebell, it almost freezes to your hand, and even your toes get cold, doesn't matter. You'll still find a way to get it done. Because the second piece to that is you align yourself with being a certain type of individual. And so for us inside the Forged Father, we align ourselves with being an uncommon man. You see, most men, they're common. They're common-ass men who just give in to excuses like it's nothing. Because it doesn't really matter to them. They say it does, but their actions speak much louder than their words do. When you're an uncommon man, you do things that are uncommon. You do things that are outside of the norm, like work out in a cold-ass garage with kettlebells and barbells that are going to freeze to your hands, even when it's 2 degrees out. You just do things that are not natural. And when people see you, when you see yourself, when you show up, you're uncommon. People can tell. You're not like the others. And so it takes a whole different type of lifestyle. And so you align yourself with being a certain type of individual who does not give in to excuses. For me, to fill my fitness bucket, It is a commitment that I've made that isn't just about the results, but it's about a promise. A promise that I've made with God, a promise that I've made with myself, a promise that I've made with my family, a promise that I've made with the men that I serve that I will not miss. I will not accept anything less than my best. And so when I'm put in a situation where it's either do the work or don't do the work, I'm going to choose do the work every fucking time because it goes so deep and it means so much to me. And so the excuses, they're there. I could easily choose them. Like yesterday, for example, something that I've done for over 8 years now. I've not missed a single day. Ice cold shower, first thing in the morning, 90 seconds. I've not missed a single day. The streak is over 8 years. Yesterday was a very difficult day. Why? Because it's cold outside. And these ice cold showers, they're still very uncomfortable. But I was faced with the decision in the moment, do I remain committed or do I bitch out and give in to the excuses? It's cold, I'll do it later. All bullshit. I know it's all bullshit. And that's the thing that you need to recognize in the moment. And that's the third piece of advice that I want to give here on how to eliminate these excuses is just to have awareness. And so when you're in the moment and you're going to either choose to go this way or that way is the excuse, this way is the work, you have enough awareness to stop yourself in the moment and say, what is it that I really want? Why is it that I want it? Do I really want it? And then you get to make a decision for yourself. It's that simple. And so a lot of men, they're stuck in this cycle of, they get to these certain points and it's just like, oh, I'll choose comfort. I'll choose the way out for now. And it's this bullshit story that they tell themselves that I'll get it next time. I'll conquer and overcome it next time. Well, at some point, there's not going to be a next time. So know what it is that you want and why you want it. Align yourself with being a certain type of individual that is going to do what he needs to do to get it. And then have the awareness of when you're in these situations that you need to make these decisions to conquer and overcome these excuses. It's a simple system. If you want a deeper look at what we do inside of Forge Father to eliminate the excuses, to conquer and overcome the excuses, go below this video, click on the link, find out more about what we do inside of Unleash. It could very well transform your life.